Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Hello, Mango here, back at it with another video. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Also, I don't know why we're just kind of in place right now. Oh, right, we were heading to Denmark territory out here. But yeah, we were going to continue some of our urban legends. So, Ohio, the Wolf of Defendants. I don't know if I read this one. Okay. Hold on, far away. Hello? Yeah? In the bedroom recording? I was. Bye. Anyways, hang on. I'm heading up this hill. So we can claim the territory. We're just gonna place it right here. Perfect. During the summer of 1972, the people of Defendants claimed that they were being terrorized by a werewolf. The sightings always happened at night, generally by the train tracks. A couple of women said it would try to get into their houses by rattling the doorknobs. The animal was said to be huge, hairy, and dressed in rags. Okay. But after summer ended, the beast disappeared, never to be heard from again. But the story lingers. Okay, Oklahoma. The mysterious shaman's portal. The mysterious occurrence of Beaver Dunes Park have been attributed to the fact that it was built upon ancient Native American burial grounds, which is why it's called Shaman's Portal. It's also known to be at the Oklahoma Bermuda Triangle. Hang on, we gotta run to the other end of the map. Mysterious things have happened in the park, starting with Spanish conquistadors, I don't know, who went missing while searching for gold in the 1500s. Since then, paranormal activity seekers flocked to the dunes. Some people claim that a UFO crashed there, and a group in the 90s who tested the soil said it was abnormal. Okay then. Oh, there's a den, like, right over here. Could be useful. In case we do have to move dens. It's right here. It's only a 1 hex border, but it is pretty close to our rendezvous. Though we'd basically have to travel across the entire map to get to it. Which by the time we were to do that, the pups would probably be full of them. Anyways, Oregon, the Bandage Man of Cannon Beach. The Bandage Man is the American version of a mummy, who is rumored to be a ghost of a logger who died in a sawmill accident, and now terrorizes teenagers who hang out at a deserted area of a highway near Cannon Beach. Stories say that he knocks on car windows to try and get in and smells really, really bad. Pennsylvania, the bus to nowhere. In Philadelphia, there's a rumor to be a bus that doesn't have an end destination. The story says that the bus only picks up passengers that are at their lowest moment, who need to get away from their problems. Once the passenger is ready to face the world, they can get off the bus. But the passenger has no idea how long they've been on the bus for. It could have been hours, days, or even years. Rhode Island, the Devil's Footprints. There is a rock on Devil's Foot Road that appears to show a normal human footprint and a cloven hoof. The story goes that a Native American woman murdered a white man and fled the scene of the crime. While running, she was stopped by another man. She cried out for the devil to save her. When the man admitted that he himself was the devil, she stomped his feet on the ground to prove that he had a cloven hoof, which the rock still shows to this day. South Carolina, the death of Julia Lagar. In the 1800s, the Legers were a well-to-do South Carolinian family who had homes on the mainland and on Eastoe Island. The daughter, Julia, got sick, was pronounced dead, and was buried inside their family mausoleum. Years later, another member of the Leger family died, and when their tomb was opened up, the remains of Julia were found outside of her coffin. The story says that Julia had been in a coma and had woken up to try and escape her tomb, but sadly died. After the reopening of the Leger mausoleum, the door cannot seem to stay shut. The Legers tried multiple different doors, and every single time the door was found open. People believe that the ghost of Julia doesn't want to be locked in that tomb any longer. Fair enough. South Dakota, Walking Sam and the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation. Purportedly over 7 feet tall and very slim, Walking Sam is said to appear on the streets of Pine Ridge Indian Reservation at night, and he tries to convince teenagers to take their own lives. Whether or not Walking Sam is real, something tragic is going on at the reservation. From December 2014 to May 2015, there were 103 suicide attempts at Pine Ridge. Oh dear. Tennessee, the boy in the bathroom at Pine Haven School. The Pine Haven School, located in Jamestown, is old and abandoned, and is said to be haunted. A tragic story supposedly took place there, where a boy cornered by a group of bullies in the bathroom and shoved into a mirror, which shattered and killed him. To avoid getting caught committing murder, the bullies decided to bury the body underneath the floorboards. Today, people say that if you go inside the school, you can see the reflection of the boy if you look in the mirror. Texas, the Candy Lady. In the early 1900s, children in an unnamed rural town in Texas started to go missing, and the residents blamed it on the Candy Lady. Oh, hang on, there's a den nearby. Sorry, I get distracted really easily. Oh, I know this den. It's this den. Anyway, people blamed it on the Candy Lady. The story says that she would go around leaving candy on children's windows, and eventually she'd lure the kids out with notes attached, promising more candy. Luckily, I don't have a sweet tooth. Well, that much of a sweet tooth, at least. The story picked up steam when a farmer allegedly found rotten teeth on his farm, and later found the body of a boy with his pockets stuffed full of candy. While little is known about the origin of the story, some have speculated that the Candy Lady was real and her name was Clara Crane. Okay then. Utah. The Curse of the Escalante Petrified Forest. while it is illegal to take anything from Escalante Petrified Forest State Park, there is a legend that says that anyone who takes pieces of petrified wood from the park will be cursed with bad luck, sickness, and accidents. This is actually very common with like national forests. A lot of them are said to be cursed, and you're not supposed to take anything from national parks without permission or a special permit. And if you take something from, let's say, the Petrified Forest State Park, and you take a piece of petrified wood, you're cursed. So do your research and don't take anything from national parks. Anyways, park manager Kendall Farnsworth said in 2014 that he gets about a dozen packages every year containing a piece of wood from the park and an apologetic letter detailing the sender's misfortunes. Oh dear. I feel bad for the delivery men. I feel like they'll be having bad luck as well while they're like delivering it. Anyways, Vermont. The Frozen People. First appearing in a diary that was published in the late 1800s, the legend of the hibernating old people recounts to the tale of the poor family outside of Montpelier who couldn't afford to feed and clothe the oldest members of the family. So they froze the people and buried them. According to the tale, when spring rolled around, the elders thawed out and were just fine. Okay, that's kind of spooky. Virginia, the Bunny Man. The Bunny Man's legend starts with what every good urban legend starts with: an insane asylum. The people of Clifton were up in arms about the asylum that they were able to get all of the patients transferred. Hang on. The patients were being moved with a bus that crashed, and the police were able to catch all the patients except one, the Bunny Man. According to the tale, the Bunny Man lived in the woods and sustained himself on woodland creatures, like bunnies. But eventually he attacked humans. Some people reported that he attacked by being attacked by a man with a hatchet. Other tales say that groups of teens would see a bright light and then would wind up dead and strung over a bridge. Okay. Hang on. There we go. That took a while. Washington, Bigfoot. Bigfoot is an internationally recognizable name and has been spotted all over the country, but Bigfoot has been spotted the most in Washington state. Bigfoot is essentially a gigantic ape-like creature who is either a ferocious beast, there we go, who attacks loggers and hikers, or a gentle giant who wants to be left alone. Either way, there's something creepy about an undiscovered species of animal wandering around the Pacific Northwest, evading capture. Fair enough. West Virginia, Mothman. Oh, I love the story of the Mothman. Hey, we're gonna mark this hex real quick because this is one of my favorites. Okay. I love the story of the Mothman. It's just like a giant man who's a moth. It's very interesting. I'm gonna mark this hex. I don't know why. Why am I smelling freaking Junction Butte? Why Junction Butte? Why? Okay, anyways. our den actually is really close to this trail. Anyways, in 1966, stories say that that West Virginia was visited by an insectoid flying creature with bright red eyes who resembled both a moth and a man. He was spotted flying around the town of Point Pleasant, along with shining lights and the men in black. Okay. Mothman's origins have been claimed as supernatural, alien, or government experiment gone wrong. But Point Pleasant has embraced the monster, creating a statue. Putting up a statue, creating a museum, and even dedicating a festival to him. In 2002, a film starring Richard Gere, called The Mothman Probecies, was released. I don't know how to pronounce words. I'm gonna take off my boots. Because they don't cause any problems. Okay, there we go. Now. Wisconsin, Boy Scout Lane. The story of what exactly happened at Boy Scout Lane varies, but they all end with the same conclusion. A group of Boy Scouts dead on the road, and some dead on the road. Hang on, I'm gonna take a sip. In some stories, there was a bus crash with no survivors, or they were murdered by their bus driver, or they just mysteriously vanished into the woods one by one. Visitors have reported seeing a swinging body in the trees, feeling as though they were being watched and finding child-sized handprints. Okay, Wyoming, Devil's Tower. Ooh, I actually have a friend who got to go see the Devil's Tower. So cool. Anyways, I'm gonna try and get some affinity up. There's no scientific consensus on what Devil's Rock, on why Devil's Rock looks the way it does, but one Native American creation story attributes the landmark's shape to a tragedy. According to the story, a large group of Cheyenne girls were attacked and killed by a bear. Two escaped and found help from two boys, who convinced the girls to act as bait. They climbed to the top of the tower, and the bear tried to follow. The boys shot arrows at the bear, and it finally gave up, leaving scratches all the way down the rock as it slid down. That must have been one gigantic bear then. Correction. March 13th, 2023. The story has been updated to remove the claims that historians debunked the theory Vikings arrived in North America before Christopher Columbus. Okay. Looks like that is all the stories for now. Like all the urban legends. If you have any urban legends that you want to hear about from like other states and stuff, I can look it up and then read it. just let me know in the comments below. But for now, we're actually going to read Dinosaurs Before Dark, The Magic Treehouse. I said I was going to read like the kind of spooky like ones, but then again, I was like, ooh, why not just read the entire series to y'all? And like, if I don't know what to talk about, which is kind of what we're doing. So, Dinosaurs Before Dark. Chapter 1. Into the Woods. Help! A monster! Annie cried. Yeah, sure, Jack said. A real monster in Frog Creek, Pennsylvania! Run, Jack! Annie said. She ran up the road. Oh, brother, Jack thought. This is what he got for spending time with his 7-year-old sister. Annie loved pretending stuff, but Jack was 8.5. He liked real things. Watch out, Jack! The monster's coming! Annie said. Jack didn't say anything. Come on, Jack! I'll race you! Annie said. No thanks, Jack said. Annie raced alone into the woods. Jack looked at the sky. The sun was about to set. Come on, Annie! It's time to go home! Yelled Jack. Jack yelled. But Annie didn't answer. Jack waited. Annie! He called again. Jack! Jack! Annie shouted. Come on! Quick! Jack groaned. This better be good, he said. Jack left the road and headed into the woods. The trees were lit with a golden late afternoon light. Over here! Annie called. Annie was standing under a tall oak tree. Look! She said. She pointed at a rope ladder. It was hanging down from high in the tree. Wow, Jack whispered. At the top of the tree, there was a treehouse tucked between 2 branches. That must be the highest treehouse in the world, Annie said. Who built it? Jack asked. I've never seen it before. I don't know, but I'm going up, Annie said. No, we don't know who it belongs to, Jack said. Just for a teeny minute, Annie said. She started up the ladder. Annie, come back, Jack said, but Annie kept climbing. She climbed all the way up to the tallest branches. Jack sighed. Annie, it's almost dark. We have to go home. Annie disappeared inside the treehouse. Annie, Jack called. Jack waited a moment. He was about to call again when Annie poked her head out of the treehouse window. Books! Annie shouted. What? Jack said. It's filled with books. Annie said. Oh man, Jack thought. He loved books. Jack pushed his glasses into place. And he has to sleep a little bit more. He gripped the sides of the rope ladder and started up. There we go. Oh man, we got more territory. I'm sick and tired of Junction Butte. I know. I knew there was going to be an attack. I also smell stranger wolves. Nah. Okay, we're on chapter 2, but I'm gonna... secondary howl. So I'm gonna go get some food and send our mate home and then go to Old Territory. Okay, anyways, chapter 2, the monster. Jack crawled into the treehouse. Wow, he said. The treehouse was filled with books. Books were everywhere. Very old books with dusty covers, and new books with shiny, bright covers. Look, and he said, you can see far away. She was peering out the treehouse window. Jack looked out the window with her. Below were the treetops of other trees. In the distance, he could see the Frog Creek Library and the elementary school and the park. Annie pointed in the other direction. There's our house, she said. Annie was right. Jack could see their white wooden house with its green porch in the yard next door. There was their neighbor's black dog, Henry. He looked very tiny. Hi, Henry, and he shouted, shush. We're not supposed to be up here, Jack said. Jack glanced around the treehouse again. He noticed that bookmarks were sticking out of many of the books. I wonder who owns all these books, he said. I like this one, Annie said. She picked up a book with a castle on the cover. Here's a book about Pennsylvania, Jack said. He turned to the page with a bookmark. Hey, there's a picture of Frog Creek, Jack said. It's a picture of these woods. Hey, oh, here's a book for you, Annie said. She held up a book about dinosaurs. A blue silk bookmark was sticking out of it. Let me see, Jack said. He set his backpack down on the floor and grabbed the book from Annie. Okay. You look at that one and I'll look at the one about castles, Annie said. No, we'd better not, Jack said. We don't know who these books belong to. But even as he said this, Jack was opening the dinosaur book to the place where the bookmark was. He couldn't help himself. Jack turned to a picture of an ancient flying reptile. He recognized it as a pterodactyl. He touched the huge bat-like wings in the picture. Wow, Jack whispered. I wish we could go to the time of the pterodactyls. Jack studied the picture of the odd-looking creature soaring through the sky. Ah! Annie screamed. What? Jack said. A monster! Annie cried. She pointed out the treehouse window. Annie, stop pretending. Jack said. No, really, Annie said. Jack looked out the window. A giant creature was gliding above the treetops. It had a long, weird crest on the back of its head, a skinny beak, and huge bat-like wings. It was a real live pterodactyl. Wait, no, pteranodon. Pteranodon. It was pteranodon, not pterodactyl, although... Pteranodon. I love pteranodons and pterodactyls. There's bull elf, but we don't need the bull elf right now. We just want normal food. I'm gonna turn the light on. Okay. It was a real-life pterodon. The creature swooped through the sky. It looked like a glider plane. It was coming straight toward the treehouse. Get down, Annie cried. Jack and Annie crouched to the floor. The wind started to blow. The treehouse started to spin. It spun faster and faster. Then everything was still. Absolutely still. Chapter 3. Where is here? Jack opened his eyes. Sunlight slanted through the window. The treehouse was still high up in the tree. Well, it's about time to end off the video here, so we're also going to end off the chapter. But it is time to end off the video here, y'all. So if you guys did enjoy this video and you might like others, please make sure you give this video a good old pause up and subscribe. Also, make sure you hit that bell notification so that way you don't miss any single time I upload. I really do hope you enjoy. Make sure you leave a comment down below. I'll see you in the next one, and goodbye, guys!